Good evening and welcome to the Trading the Tech Show. My name is Derek and this is iLi Academy. Today is Wednesday, March 31st, 2021. So it's the last day of the month. And so we're rounding out the month. We did round out the month today on the Dow Jones down 85 points on the day, 85.41. The Dow closed at 32,981.55, so just shy of that 33,000 mark. We kind of had been up there, hanging out there for a few days, but now we are back below 33,000. Looking at the chart today, we see that it was pretty flat trading, really. I mean, you're just looking at, there was somewhat of an incline, maybe from about this 1130 mark going into maybe 130 or so. But after that, it was just pretty much downhill from there. And then at the end of the day, after 3:30 or so, we really got these pushes to the downside. We got a little pop up going into 4 o'clock, and then it just stabbed right on down to that 85 point down mark. That was really the ugly show of the day. The S&P 500 was actually positive, came up 14 points to 39.72. The Nasdaq was up 201 to 13,246, and the Russell 2000 was up 24 points to 2220. So across the board, we were doing all very good, except for the Dow. The Dow really just kind of, really just kind of hit the wall there and fell for a second consecutive day. So being that it's only Wednesday, we still have a couple days of trading left to go. We've got Thursday and Friday to go. So, there's a lot of opportunity to even recover what we've lost. On the week, though, I think we're still up. Let me go ahead and here's our 5 day. Let's take a look here. Yeah, so on a 5 day, we're still up. 5 day period, we're still up from last week. So we're not in a bad situation. Like, it's not terrible that we're pulling back. I think that 33,000 mark is going to kind of be still like a resistance point for the market. So anytime we get above that, there's going to be some profit taking and individuals who get a little scared, traders who get scared and say, you know what, I don't know if I like things up at this level, so let's take off some profits here. And I'm sure there's a lot of profits to be had, at this point in time to actually be realized. So let's get ready to go into our trading for the week. Let's see, let's go over here. Well, I guess we can start. We can do this a little different tonight. We'll start with the US dollar pairs. We'll start with the majors, right? So just so it's not so monotonous. All right. So as far as the US dollar CAD, you see that we are trading above our 720 here. So we were below it, but look at all the moving averages. The long-term moving averages, 200, the 100, and the 50 are still all above this 720. So there's the opportunity, because the direction is to the upside based on those moving averages, the opportunity really is to buy here. So we can buy on this 50, this 200, or this 100. Any one of those moving averages are eligible for us to buy on, to place our buy stop. So even though we traded down here well below the 720, if the long-term moving averages don't drop below that 720, then our direction's still to the upside. All right, so now let's take a look at the US dollar Swiss. US dollar Swiss is still trading well above our 720. You can see that down here. So our 720, there's a lot of distance between that and our 200. And yesterday we did get some opportunities in yesterday's trading. We traded down here below the 50. We could have bought back on the 50, or we traded down here below the 100 and could have bought on the 100 or on the 50 as well to the upside. So we've got a full mature trend to the upside here. If you look at the moving averages, they're all in order to the upside. They've got some separation as well. So our expectation is continued movement to the upside. That's the preferred direction. Now, as far as the US dollar yen, we're trading above our 720 here. Kind of the same deal. We've got all our moving averages in order to the upside. The 8's kind of kissing the 21 right now, but it's pretty close. We're tailoring off just a little bit here. So we might actually get some pushback, below the 50, maybe more towards this 100, and then be able to drop an order on the 50 to buy. But we're definitely bullish on the US dollar yen as well. Let's start with our New Zealand pairs here. Let's take a look at those. Here's our New Zealand CAD. Let's take a look at where our 720 is. As you see that coming across the top here. All the moving averages and the rate is below that 720. We've got a full mature trend based on the moving averages here. So we're just waiting on pullback to our 50 or our 100, and that's going to give us the opportunity to short. Now we got these nice pullbacks earlier, in the week and last week as well. We were getting these pullbacks past the 200. We had another one here, and any one of those orders would have been profitable. Some of them would have taken some time. Other ones, in the day, within the day, you could have actually broken even on them. So here we had an opportunity when it jumped up here midday above our 200 to short on this 200, the 100, or the 50. They're all kind of in the same area, and we would have had a very, very nice trade to the downside. Now, as far as the New Zealand Swiss goes, we're trading here below our 720. See the rates well below the 720 here now. Even though it did pop up yesterday above the 720, all the moving averages are in order to the downside here. So our opportunity to short is going to be really maybe on this 200 right now, because it's sitting right on the 100 in yellow. That's where the rate's sitting right now, which is represented, the ask price is represented by our red line here going across the chart. That's the ask price, and our bid price is going to be a little bit lower than that. So the only opportunity we have to sell is going to be on this 200. That's New Zealand Swiss. Let's go to New Zealand Yen. New Zealand Yen, we see our 720 is kind of coming flat across the middle here for the last few days, and it's pretty much right where our price is right now, in the 77.17 to 77.19 area. We are trading rate, just directly on that 720 right now. So we've got to figure out where this is going. We've got to get our moving averages on one side or the other. Right now, the 200 is below the 720 and never crossed it. So our, if we're going to place any order, we place an order to short on this 200. Okay. As far as New Zealand US goes, let's take a look at where our 720 is. It's coming across the top here, right? So all of our moving averages are in order to the downside. We're starting to create this new trend. We've actually created this new trend to the downside here. We've got a little bit of a floor kind of going on. If you look at where this rate is right now, the ask price right now, you can see that we had resistance here. We had resistance here. We had support, I'm sorry. We had support here, support here, support here, and then we kind of broke through a little bit. So we'll be watching this to see if we really break this low. If we don't, we'll trade off to the upside. That's typically what we've got. We've come down here, tested a little bit, and then traded up to the upside. So this is a nice kind of like a breakout bounce opportunity. If it doesn't break the low and it continues to the upside, then we've got some opportunity there. But the opportunity would have been yesterday to sell when the rate was well above our 200. So we could have dropped it on the 200, the 100, or the 50. Didn't really matter where we dropped it. We were still profitable. As far as the pound Aussie goes, we're trading here above our 720. All the moving averages are in order to the upside. There's a nice kind of trajectory to the upside going on. So that's definitely very, very cool. So we love to see this, this opening up of the moving averages, like to see the angle going to the upside there. It's always a good thing to see. So as far as the pound Aussie goes, we've got to wait on a pullback. Once this move exhausts, we've got to wait on a pullback to our 50 and to our 100 here. Right. Pound CAD, we're trading here below our 720, right? So all the moving averages are below 720 as well. So our opportunity to sell right now is going to be where this 100, 250 are sitting. We're all sitting in this 1.77330 mark area. So we're all kind of sitting right around there for all the moving averages. We can short. We can see that there's been a little bit of support kind of going on here as well. Just maybe put a line there so you can see it. You can see we've been bouncing off this support level all the way across here for a few days. So we did bounce up above it. So when we short here, we're going to want to break even pretty quickly here. If it gets 5 pips or something down, we want to go ahead and try to break even, especially when it's right around this mark here, which is that 173.16 or so. So there'll be a few pips there. We don't have to trail it too closely, but we can say, okay, once we get, let's lock in like maybe 5 pips. And then just let it sit, let it run, because it's already profitable. It's not going to go back negative on you. As long as the market's not moving really fast, it's not going to go negative on you. That trade you won't lose on. So you'll just, we'll just let it, be patient and let it kind of run itself out. It is going to run to the stop, or it's going to run the opposite direction. And that either one of those is good for you. As far as the pound Swiss goes, we're trading above our 720. So we see our 720 here on the bottom. All the moving averages are in order to the upside. So we've got full mature trend going on. We just need to pull back to our 50 into our 100. That's going to be our places where we can drop orders. Here's the pound yen, kind of the same deal, trading above the 720, all the moving averages in order to the upside. And then we're going to be looking for pullbacks past our 50 and past our 100. As far as the pound US goes, we're trading below our 720. All the moving averages are below the 720. We've got rate, sitting right here above the 8. So we can drop an order on this 50. And because it's got a lot of distance between the 50 and the 720, it's not going to cross anytime soon. Or we can drop it where this 100 and 200 are currently sitting right around this 137.66 mark. So we'd be sellers. We'd be placing a sell stop there. Okay. All right, so that was the pound trade. Let's go through the euros. Oops, let me get to my Euro Aussie. Here's my Euro Aussie trade here. So we see we're trading right now above our 720. Here's our 720 kind of coming across the middle here. All of the long-term moving average, though, our 200, our 50, and our 100 are still below the 720. So even though this move is happening, we're not going to become buyers until our long-term moving averages jump over the top of that 720. If they don't do that, we're still short sellers here. So the 200 is fairly close to where the 720 is at right now. So if we don't want to use the 200, we could use the 50 or the 100 most conservatively to short. As far as the Euro CAD goes, we're trading well below our 720, which is way up here, just peeking out of the top of our chart. We've got all the moving averages in order to the downside. So we've got full mature trend to the downside. That's our preferred direction. So we're pulling back now pretty close to the 50. So we're going to want to jump over that 50. If rate jumps over the 50 and gives us a few pips distance, we're going to go ahead and short on the 50. And if it continues to go to the upside, then we'll short on the 100. If you look at the trajectory of how this has kind of been going down here, it's probably going to jump a little bit above maybe this 50, if at all. And if it does that, our opportunity is going to be to sell on the 50. As far as the Euro Swiss goes, we're trading here with our 720 down at the bottom. All the moving averages are in order to the upside. It's not really pretty the way the chart looks or whatever, the way these candles are going. It's a little bit choppy, but we can tell what direction is by looking at our moving averages. So we can see that the 200 never broke that 720 mark. You can see the 200 kind of just coming across the center here. The 100 kind of the same deal, but the 200 is really telling the story here. It's above the 720 the whole time. So it didn't matter what happened down here. The momentum was never to the downside. It was to the upside. So it didn't matter that it was down here trading below the 720. It doesn't matter until the overall direction changes. Now, as far as the Euro Pound goes, we're trading below our 720 here. All of our moving averages are in order to the downside. We're waiting on pullbacks past our 50 or past our 100 to short. Now, our rate here a couple days ago did jump above our 100, so we could have shorted on the 100 or on the 50, and any one of those trades would have been profitable for us even right now. Yesterday's trading, we did jump up above the 50, so if we dropped in order to short on the 50, we would be profitable on it right now. So that was a great opportunity for us. As far as the Euro Yen goes, we're trading above our 720. We've got all the moving averages above the 720 as well. We're pretty much in order. The 8s jumped over the 21 just a little bit. That's kind of expected in just fluctuation in the market. But we've got a nice trend to the upside set up here. So we're just waiting for pullbacks past our 50, past our 100, and those are the levels that we'll place orders at. As far as the Euro New Zealand, you see our 720 just coming across the middle here. Not really the middle of the chart, but at the bottom of the chart here. That's kind of been acting as a little bit of level of support for the rate. And now we've bounced back, even though we traded well below the 720 late in the day trading yesterday, we still bounced back to where our long-term moving averages were. So, the 200 here is our most conservative entry, and we would have been profitable even if we took that entry, but we could have took the 50 or the 100 as well as an entry, and we'd have a nice profitable trade right now. We're gonna have to wait on pullbacks. Let's see how that sets up and what happens there. Now, as far as the Euro US goes, we're trading below our 720. We've got all our moving averages below the 720 as well. So any movement back past our 50, past our 100 is opportunity for us to short. Right now, we're sitting pretty much right on top of the 50. The 21 and the 8 are pretty much close by as well. So we'll have to watch this and see what happens. Do we go to the upside here a little bit and give us some room, kind of like we did yesterday here? We did trade to the upside here towards the 200, so we could have dropped an order on the 100 and we'd have had a profitable trade. Oh, that was the rest of the euros. Let's go over here. Let's check out our couple of yen pairs here. We're going to look at the CAD yen here. The CAD yen on the 30-minute chart is trading above our 720 here. All the moving averages pretty much in order to the upside. We got a full mature trend there. The 8 is dipping down towards the 21. The 21 is dipping down a little bit too as the rate comes down here and tests our 50 moving average. If it drops below that 50 moving average, then great. Then we can buy on that level. If it drops to the 100, we can improve the order, to maybe the 100 moving average. That's what we'll look for. As far as the Swiss yen, we've got our 720 here. The 200 just jumped over the 720. That was late in the day trading yesterday for yesterday's trade date. And so we're now kind of changing our long-term direction to the upside here. That's telling my long-term, directions to the upside. So we're going to be watching this. It's pulled back now here to the 100. So if we're going to buy on this 50. The 50 and the 21 are kind of sitting in the same place, right around 117.26. That's going to be our buy area. Now, if the rate continues on down and wants to test the 200, then we can move that order down here to where the 100 is, around this 117.17 area. So it's not, what, nine pips or so down from the 50s entry. So we can improve it, and maybe that's 9 pips that we get in the long run. All right, let's look at the Aussies. Aussie CAD, we see that our 720 is kind of hanging out here at the top. It's just peeking out of the top of the screen here. All the moving averages are in order to the downside. So they're full mature trend to the downside. We're just waiting on pullbacks towards our 50 and past our 100 in order to drop shorts on those levels. As far as Aussie yen, we're trading here above our 720. Our 200 did jump over the 720 yesterday, early in the day trading. So we were headed to the upside here, but now we're coming down and the rate is testing this 200. The long-term moving averages are still above the 720, so we still have to look at this as like a buying opportunity. And so we could buy on the next level, which would be that 100 moving average, or maybe this 50 if you want to be conservative. But right now where it's sitting directly on top of our 200. We can't place an order there unless the rate comes down here and wants to test our 720, then we can drop that order to the 200. As far as the Aussie New Zealand goes, we're trading here above our 720. The moving averages are all in order to the upside here, but they're in order as a downward trend, but they're all on the upside of the 720. So we're still buyers here. We're going to be buyers on this 50, the 100, or the 200. We typically don't like to see the moving averages in the wrong order on the upside, but that just signifies that we're pushing down a little bit against the overall trend. But my moving averages, my long-term moving averages, are still above the 720. So that tells me the long-term trend is to the upside. So we don't really have to worry about that. We just go with what the chart tells us, and then we place our order on one of these moving averages to buy. Our last chart's our Aussie US chart here. Let's see, we're trading well below our 720, right? So trading below the 720, the moving averages are in order to the downside. So we've got a full mature trend to the downside. Yesterday at a little after midday, or pretty much the last quarter of the day, we got a nice move up here above our 200. And so we could have dropped in order to sell on the 200 or the 100 or the 50. Didn't really matter. Every one of those became profitable within just hours. We had a very, very nice profitable trade that would even now still be becoming more profitable for us. So we have to wait now till we get pullbacks to our 50 or to our 100 in order to make our short orders work. All right. So that's the opportunities that we have for tonight. I think that we've got some really great things that we can look at as far as trades, things that we can keep track of that are going to make things easy for us to trade on. So the market's giving us some real opportunities to trade. So we should be taking advantage of those. Someone asked me how much I should look at, how much should they look at the chart? I say, look every couple of hours. You don't have to look at every hour. You don't have to sit in front of the charts that way. You can look every couple hours. If you have more time and you want to look every hour, kind of set up your, maybe an alarm on your phone or whatever to make sure that you look. But just look for those opportunities because, and definitely if you see something setting up, just keep a journal of, which ones are setting up and just keep your eye on the trade that you think that you might want to take. And then, you place that order. Doesn't have to be complicated, doesn't have to take a lot of your time. That's the great thing about this particular strategy. You can kind of identify what's there pretty quickly and then roll through all your charts and really analyze them in a quick fashion. It's very easy to execute, very visual. So I want to thank you for your time and your patience. Once again, my name is Derek. This has been the iLi Academy Trading the Tech Show. I hope that you got some value out of it. If you know somebody who would love the value of this information and wants to learn how to trade and want strategy that they can use, send them to the show and have them sign up for service with us. All right. Thank you so much. You have a great day. We'll talk to you soon. I hope your trading goes well. Bye bye.